Otakuology Podcast with Otaku Mike and Jin Graves.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the Otakuology Podcast. I'm your host, Otaku Mike, aka Spider-Man 666. I don't know what universe that is, but I just made it up.
I know. I kind of really want to know this now because you might be a really fucked up Spider-Man.
With me, as always, is my heterosexual sidekick Spider-Man partner. That's Jin, aka Spider-Man, from Universe 333.
I don't know if I want to be 333. All right, can I be 4062?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
But today we are looking at Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse. We're doing this in reverse because we haven't even talked about Into the Spider-Verse yet, but we probably should talk about Into the Spider-Verse the next time. I want to say we should do that. Do like a double feature type of thing.
Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, we should talk. We should do a whole podcast about that. I think it's on like Disney. It's on like Disney Plus now.
Is it?
Yeah, I believe they made like Sony made like a thing where all the Spider-Man stuff is on Disney Plus.
Nah, I don't know that just yet. I know that they have
Or they started to
Spider-Man Homecoming, but I haven't seen anything else on there yet.
Yeah, they put Homecoming, the 3 original Spider-Mans, Amazing Spider-Mans are on there, and like Venom's even on there.
Yeah,
so like
we
there's
just
a
gotta
bunch.
wait for a part of this stuff.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of Spider-Man stuff on there now, for like the live action movies and whatnot. But
Yeah.
we are talking about this movie. It just came out, the big anticipated sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. Everybody was looking forward to this. I was looking forward to this. Were you looking forward to this movie?
I was definitely looking forward to this. Whenever we went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, "This is my one that we're going to see. I'm ready for it."
Yeah, totally.
Oh man, I don't know if you want to be Spider-Man 666.
Why? Did you look it up?
I looked it up.
Oh, it's a real Spider-Man?
Yeah, so you know how Scarlet Spider has like the red like or the gold like legs that comes out, or Superior Spider-Man?
Yeah.
So he's got that, but they're black. They're actual real spider legs.
Oh, really?
And his head is a spider's head.
Oh man, that's crazy. I'm gonna look this up now.
His hands and feet are like a morph between a spider. He's like like Batman and Man-Bat.
Yeah.
It's like that, but it would be like Spider-Man, and then I would almost call this like Man-Spider. Man, it's creepy looking.
Oh, I see it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that definitely looks like Man-Spider kind of.
Yeah.
But with the legs instead of like the 6 arms.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I don't want to take it back. I don't want to be Spider-Man 666.
Too bad you keep it now.
Okay, fine. But let's get into this movie. This movie starts out not with Miles Morales.
So you have to talk about your post viewing. Let me tell you about my previewing.
Okay. Well, I kind of want to talk about mine towards the end of the movie because it kind of revolves around like sitting through.
And that's what I'm saying, because mine happened before I even got there.
Okay. You do yours first, and I'll do mine towards the end.
So I basically got shat on by like all my brothers and friends and stuff that we were gonna go, because I was supposed to have a date that night, and then I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go to it, because it was kind of weird. It was with the person's family was gonna be around, and I was like, I've never met those people, but a water park is not where I want to go meet anybody's family. Okay. Like that's just it. Anyway. So I was like, okay, well, everybody bought their ticket, I was like, okay, well, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to go try and see it as early as possible. So I saw it Saturday at 10 in the morning.
Oh, really? I saw it at Saturday at 7:30
in the morning.
at night.
We didn't. Oh, okay. Well, we didn't have
Yeah.
an earlier one than that. But
Yeah.
I drive up.
Yeah.
I drive up, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, second spot from the door.
Yeah.
Walk in. They're unlocking the doors.
Uh-huh.
Get in there.
Yeah.
Every like Marvel hero movie or something like that, or a movie that I'm going to go see in the theater. Usually, if they have a cup and a bucket, I'll buy that.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that. I get my little Miles Morales thing for the top of my cup. Everything
Yeah.
else, across the Spider-Verse, popcorn, everything else. Get
Yeah.
into the movie. I'm sitting there. I'm looking around, and I'm like, there's like 5 people in here.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking, and so preview start, we're going through it. The whole time, there's probably like, it filled up to probably 20, 30 people in a huge theater.
Uh-huh.
There wasn't anybody that sat around me, anything. I was sitting there like, there's got to be more like people coming to see this
Was it
movie.
a first show? It was the first showing of the day?
Yeah, it was the very first showing on Saturday. So it
Oh,
had been out, it had previewed the night before,
yeah.
and early showing was Thursday. So I mean, it had
Mhm.
been out for like 3 days ish.
Yeah.
And dude, it was like a fucking ghost town. Like, I was like, how do I like do that? And
I mean,
so I told all my friends, I said, fuck you guys. I said, I will go to 10 in the morning showing every fucking time now.
I
Because I
mean,
mean, you have space. You don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about getting your drinks there. Everything's fucking
yeah.
fresh. I mean, like, it was great. The only weird thing is where uh I was in there, and part of the guys that had ordered their stuff were right before me, and you could tell lightly that they were like the Spider-Man like snob people, but
Mhm.
at the same time it was like, well, yeah, I'm not going to pay $25 for the Spider-Man thing. Oh man, you want a drink and you want popcorn? I was like, at the end of the day, when you bought both of those things, you probably paid the same amount that I did.
Yeah. So it sounds like you had a good showing because nobody was really there.
This is true. The only thing that I had to say was bad was I didn't really get that whole like where people like at the end kind of like clap or like kind of cheer for how good the movie was.
Oh,
I didn't really get that, but
okay. Well, I'll tell you about my experience at the end when we go through the movie.
later.
Because mine actually isn't as affected by the ending, kind of, sort of.
Oh,
But we'll get it,
by the credits or the
sort of, but
ending. Okay.
the ending of it. But
Okay.
um, so let's get into this movie.
in a in a what world is Gwen from?
Oh, Earth. Oh God, what is she from? I would like look this up earlier. I want to say it's like 35 or 36.
In a world of Earth
It's six. It's
30.
60. It's 65.
In a world of Earth 65, we get to see Gwen and how she and has to deal with the loss of Miles Morales, of not being in the same universe as him, and them possibly being star-crossed lovers.
I mean, that is definitely how I felt in this movie. Yeah. So yeah, we start off with her band called the Mary Janes. She's the drummer for that band. She's dealing with the fallout from Into the Spider-Verse because they haven't seen each other since the end of that movie. And
Yeah, and they ripped a like hole in time, kind of, sorta.
yeah, like space and time, like a I forget what it was, like a hole in the universe. And she
Yep.
really misses like her friends that she made, because honestly, like her life isn't the greatest. Her dad, who's like the captain of the police force, Captain Stacy, is on the hunt for Spider Woman, I would guess you could say, because he thinks that she killed her best friend, who turned out to be the Lizard, who was Peter Parker, and at their prom or dance or whatever. And that's kind of where she is left off in her world, I guess you could say. You know.
So note to self, I looked up mine too, Earth 4062.
Uh
There's not one for that yet.
huh.
Dang it. At least you got one.
Oh man. But yeah,
Even
that's
though
kind of,
yours is creepy as fuck.
I know it's creepy as fuck. I know. So, so Gwen is like very much kind of like the Spider-Man of like the normal Spider-Man, where he's kind of on the run, sort of from police, kind of a little bit at times. You know how J. Jonah Jameson wants to capture him and whatnot and stuff like that. But
Right.
she is technically a fugitive because she supposedly killed Peter Parker, which I think it got retconned from the first movie, but I don't remember. I would have to go back and rewatch the original movie. I think there might have been a slight retcon in that aspect. Do you remember?
I don't think they brought it up because I know she had a problem of something happening, and then she ended up coming into his world, but we didn't exactly know why.
But we do see Peter Parker dead in her world as well in the first movie.
Yes, yes.
But I don't know if it was established whether or not it was the lizard or not. You
I
know,
don't know.
yeah. But we get to see her world and whatnot. I like her world. Her world looks cool, like the pastel colors for like all the way it looks and whatnot. But
Yeah,
she ends up going to, I think it's a museum, right, or something like that, and she ends
yeah.
up
She goes to like the Museum of Automative Arts or
yeah, something
something
like
weird
that,
like that. Yeah,
and she ends up fighting a vulture who is made of paper or wood. I don't remember what exactly he was made
yeah.
of.
He's like a Baroque works uh
Leonardo da Vinci type of
vulture.
character.
Yeah, yeah. So like
Yeah.
that's the world that he comes from. So all of their stuff is like generic from 1980, not
He
1980s.
he looked
I
like
mean way
fucking
back
crazy.
then. Yeah, I
He looked like
mean,
wicked cool. Like I like the how they like took the different art. We'll talk about this later, but the different art styles and like meshed them all together, and they looked like it looked like dirty. Like not like 'cause, like, how we're used to having like smooth, nice animation.
right,
This looked like it was like rough and like but it worked so well. You
right,
know, like all of the different animation styles merged like really nice together. I have to
right.
say,
I
you know,
I agree. I think well, side note, one of my favorite characters was Spider Punk, and he really felt like a lightning bug, I would say, because
Hubie,
out of uh yeah, because out of or Obi,
yeah, Obi. Sorry, Obi, yeah.
because
Or is
out
it
of
was it
nowhere,
Hubie? Was it Hubie or Obi?
Obi,
Obi, was it?
Obi Price or Obi something.
Okay.
Um, yeah, he I mean, he'd be standing there and just instantly like his colors would change or whatever, and it was like, why are
His
his colors changing so fast?
his name is Hobart Hobie Brown.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
Every time I kept hearing some of the other characters say his name, I thought they were saying Obi.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that. But yeah, we start out and then we get our introduction into the Spider Woman, who is Jessica Drew, but she's a different version of Jessica Drew. They kind of took things from the comics from her, like the fact that she's pregnant. That's from the comics. They changed her race, which was pretty cool. She's riding around on like a motorcycle and stuff.
Yeah,
And I think they changed her powers as well, because in the comics, she doesn't shoot webs. She does almost like a green, almost like venom blast, kind of like Miles did.
yeah.
Kind of,
Well,
yeah.
and we don't really see her like. I mean, she shoots web, I think, once, but we really don't
Well, I
see
mean,
her
she does it
use
several times, but
powers.
she does it. She does it through like all of her fingers. It's not just like,
Yeah,
um,
the closest person that she really reminds me of is Spider with like Kimi, I think is
no.
what it is.
She reminded me of like if you crossed like, what the fuck is her name?
You know the one from the first movie though, the robot
Yeah,
spider? Like that
yeah,
that the motorcycle kind of reminded me of that with her.
yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, I can see that. I fucking forgot her name, but she's the one in from Luke Cage, the character from Luke Cage. I can't remember what her name is.
Jessica Jones?
No, not Jessica Jones. She was like a cop. Misty Knight. Misty Knight. She
Okay,
reminded me
yeah.
of Misty Knight if Misty Knight had spider powers.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like the way
Spider powers, and she didn't have a Winter Soldier arm.
Yeah. But we get her, and we get my boy, probably one of my favorite Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah.
Because I read him as a kid. Like, he's the Spider-Man that I read as a child.
So let me ask you this question,
Uh-huh.
because there is one thing I called and I had to ask some other people, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
hey, is this true? And originally they told me no, they thought the movie was taking liberties, and then somebody else came back and said, no, that's true.
Uh-huh.
So was he originally like a vampire kind of guy?
No, he was not.
Okay. Because somebody
So
else, I asked somebody and they told me no. And then another person said, yeah, if you run da 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 da, he actually was a
I
vampire
mean,
in that.
I don't know if it's changed because I only read the original run of Spider-Man 2099. He's
Yeah,
come
okay.
back over the years and been brought into the Marvel Universe proper. Because technically he's in the Marvel Universe proper, but he's like, in 2099. He's not in our normal times.
Right, right.
But so with him, he gets injected, I think, with like Peter Parker's DNA. I
Yeah,
think it was. I can't remember exactly what exactly happened because it's been a while since I've read it. And with him, he gets claws, like claws, like talons, and he gets fangs. There's like supposed to be spider fangs in his mouth,
yeah.
and they're not in the comics. They're not retractable, so sometimes he has a hard time talking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he can like bite people and give them like an injection of like venom, basically. Like,
So is it was the blue suit one though? Because I know
yeah,
later on he gets a white suit.
yeah. The white suit is a new thing. It's a new thing. The red and blue
Right.
one is his original suit.
I have this new thing, so I'll have to send you the link for it. But you know the game that I play, Marvel United,
Mm-hmm.
with the little figures. So I've been the past three movies I've been calling my brother out on it. Well, since Ant-Man Quantumania,
Mm-hmm.
I called him out on it. I said, "Hey, I said, let me tell you this. I said, I know a handful of what's going to happen with movies and stuff that are coming out." He goes, "No, you don't. How do you know that?" And I think that there may be a little thing where Marvel has released a little bit of these things because part of the new figures and the sets don't even come out till the end of or the beginning of next year. But like with Guardians of the Galaxy, we have the High Evolutionary. With this, we have almost all of the
You
Spider-Man, the main Spider-Man.
can I just cut in and tell you we had this
Yeah.
exact same conversation with Guardians of the Galaxy.
We did?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I
So I'm
totally
not.
think like
We don't have to talk about this because we already had it
yeah,
with Guardians of the Galaxy. I
right.
know
But
you were
but I mean,
saying
I
yeah,
totally think like it foreshadows what we're gonna
yeah,
have.
I don't know, like most definitely because like they just released like a massive omnibus for Spider-Man 2099, and the
Yeah.
movie just came out. Because he's kind of been a little bit out of reprint his original stuff a little bit, so they like reprinted all his original stuff.
Right. Well, and we do have White Suit Spider 2099 in 2099 for Marvel United, but we didn't have the blue one until the Spider-Gen thing was
Yeah.
coming out, which I hope it comes out at the end of this month.
That suit's in the PlayStation Spider-Man game as well.
Yeah.
You get one for Peter and for Miles Morales, which is pretty cool.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
they show up and they take the Vulture away, obviously, and
right.
Gwen has nowhere to go because she has revealed herself to her dad, and
And
he's
then
basically
poof,
he puts her
she's
under
out of
arrest.
there.
She's out of there. She's gone. And then we get to Miles, and we see probably one of the best characters in the movie, which is the Spot.
Oh my god. Right? And he's the enemy that's in the box set.
Yeah,
So
we have the Spot when Miles is trying to figure out life post into the Spider-Verse without Peter B. Parker and without Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, and hold everything together because he's
Yeah,
trying to juggle Spider-Man and school and all this other stuff.
which he's having a very hard problem with. You know.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
but I agree with you. Like Spot was one of my he's one of my favorite guys in this whole movie. I was
As
like,
as somebody
man,
like I don't really care for him in the comic books, but he was pretty fun in the movie. Like
yeah,
his powers are pretty crazy, and they have this really awesome battle, and whatnot. He keeps saying like, oh, I'm your nemesis, I'm your nemesis, and which is funny is they did a small retcon because he wasn't in the first movie, even though they said he was in the first movie.
that's true.
Yeah,
Unless he was like just so happened in the background,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't exactly like
Because he
there.
he worked for Alchemex, and Alchemex is a Spider-Man 2099. That's where Miguel O'Hara originally worked and
Yeah.
developed, got his spider powers and stuff like that. So we have that. Miles is trying to like find his way through the world and whatnot. Gwen pops back up, and because she is looking for the Spot, because the Spot's apparently going to do stuff.
Yeah. Well, and let me ask you this: Did you feel a little let down that the Spot was kind of the only villain we had in this
Um,
at this point?
no, in a
Because
way,
we didn't get like Kingpin back, we didn't get Doc Ock or the female Doc Ock.
no, no,
Um,
I don't, because I feel like honestly, like Miguel is kind of a big antagonist in this movie.
okay, okay,
Yeah, so he kind of takes the antagonistic Spot away from the Spot halfway through the movie.
that's true.
And we'll talk about it later, but we get a third villain in this movie. Even though Miguel's not really a villain, he kind of takes that part.
Yeah, it's more of that anti-hero
Yeah, yeah,
gauntlet. He's got to act as Deadpool. But his is more like with a purpose than
yeah.
free range.
No, yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, I liked the Spot. I thought it was a great villain to have in this.
yeah. I loved his realization of his powers because he gets sucked through his own Spot, you know, and he ends up finding out that he can go to different multiverses. And when we got to the part where the convenience store lady from Venom showed up, I fucking lost my
Yes,
mind. I fucking lost my
yes.
mind. There's a couple cameos in this where I was like, oh my fucking god. Like,
Well, and how they connected it, I was like, oh my god. And then with the Lego Spider-Man, I was like,
oh yes.
shit.
Yes, because that was
I
a
was like,
pretty
oh,
that was a pretty
that
good callback because they
now,
wrote the Lego movies.
yeah, I was like, now Lego Spider-Man is freaking in this. Dang it.
Yeah. I mean, I think every Spider-Man is in this movie. And there's even ones I think that are made up for this movie. Because I think we get every
Well,
single animated Spider-Man in this movie.
and see, I really want to know where Spider-Man where the Spider-Man 4 Venom is going to be at.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah,
we did have the whole thing with the end of Endgame where
yeah.
we did
I,
have Eddie Brock in the world, and he left a little
I,
piece of the symbiote.
I think I don't know if they were holding off on Tom Holland because I think he might have different contracts, like contractually obligated to do different movies. So
Yeah.
that's why I don't think he. That's why I don't think he
Well,
was in the movie.
and the other thing I think with that they will probably do, which I will only say because of the last Spider-Man movie,
Yeah.
the Far From Home one, is
Hmm.
where he met the other two versions of himself. Obviously, the Andrew
Yeah.
Garfield's
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's regular Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But whenever he's got the whole confrontation with, is it Electro or the Shocker?
Uh,
Uh,
Electro.
uh, okay, Jamie Foxx's character, yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, man, I just kind of wish that there was a black Spider-Man out there somewhere.
Right.
I really think that what they'll do is they'll hold off until we have a crossover part with the universe, and we'll actually have an actual person play Miles Morales,
I
and then he'll meet Tom Holland,
I feel
Spider-Man.
like that's where we're going to be leading up to be honest. I think we are going to get a live action Miles Morales.
Yes,
Like
I agree.
as well as these movies have done, I feel like we were going to get a live action Miles Morales. And I
Right?
feel like we could have both of them simultaneously
Oh yeah, I
in just
agree.
different universes, like just like the Ultimate Universe, and then we have the main universe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like they should bring back the Ultimate Universe and just have Miles over there because right now in the comics, his comic book sucks because he's in the main universe right now.
yeah.
In the comics, they fucking suck. I hate it. They
Fucking
don't.
sucks. I hate it.
I don't feel like they know what to do with Miles Morales when he's stuck in the main universe.
Yeah,
Because there's already like 2 other Spider-Mans. 3 technically, I think.
yeah.
But yeah, that's just
Oh
personally
man, it's
me.
crazy.
Anyways, we get back.
But
Miles go ahead.
but like you did say, we did see where the Venom movies crossed over into
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
We did see Lego Spider-Man cross over into this, and later on we did see the first 2 sets of Spider-Man
Yeah.
come into this as well. So, I mean, we know that up to that point that all these universes are connected.
Yeah, no, they are connected, yes.
So,
They are definitely connected. And so Miles is at a party. He ends up seeing Gwen. Gwen is actually there to do reconnaissance on the spot.
which we have to tell you what the party is for. It's his dad's going to get promoted to captain.
Yes.
Because that will play a role in the movie later on.
Later on, it will. Yes.
I don't know how many fucking jokes I made about Inside Out with this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I'll tell you when we get there.
Okay. But
That way
yeah,
we won't jump the gun.
we end up Gwen ends up telling Miles about the Spider People group. And they're trying to stop like non-canon moments or whatever from happening. He's trying to stop the non-canon or the canon, whatever it's called. I forget.
They're trying to stop the disturbance of the multiverses.
Yeah, like non-canon moments like from happening. So like, a Gwen Stacy always has to die type of thing, or whatever.
Which didn't they also have a reference to Doctor Strange in this too?
Yeah, they're like,
Like
don't get
he
me
was
started.
brought up by name.
Like, don't get me started on that other Spider-Man and Doctor Strange from Earth 99999.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yes. They bring it up and they talk about it. Miles ends up following Gwen to catch this to follow her to see where she's going. And
to catch the spot.
That's where he finds out. Oh, there are other Spider People and whatnot, and there's a reason for Gwen not showing up. But she's very vague about that reason. And
Right.
they end up going through the portal.
And inside, Gwen wasn't actually supposed to meet him when they were in this world. It was only because the spot was who she was trying to find.
Yeah, and she just happened to like take a detour and like see him, basically.
Right.
Yeah, and so we end up in Spider-Man India, which I wasn't expecting him to be in the movie and having such a big part in the movie, which is crazy.
Right. I agree with that because it was very unique. Very unique Spider-Man.
That whole Spider-Man segment was so crazy, so like well animated,
I agree.
Like because they're chasing the spot through New Mumbai, whatever it was called. I forget what it was called.
I think that's what it was. New Mumbai.
The whole chase sequence for him to get to Alchemax to get more superpowers. But that chase was very good. I love the whole thing, and apparently the actor who also plays Dupinder from Deadpool, he plays Spider-Man.
Yes,
the Indian Spider-Man.
That was actually in my mind too.
Yeah. I was like, is that Dupinder? That's Dupinder,
Yeah. I mean, he's got one of those voices now, so he's in there.
Apparently, he helped because originally the help improve that scene. He helped them with it. He came up with the chai tea reference at one point. He's like,
Yeah.
it's just tea tea, you know. Or
Oh,
if I
well,
say chai chai,
and I love that they use that in another spot in the movie, because where
yeah,
was it that um Miles brought something up before they
yeah,
left his world? It was something something, and it's like, oh well, this is just that word, but it's
yeah.
in Spanish, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Oh, I forget what it
what?
was. I
Yeah,
forget what
I
it
can't
was.
remember. But then when they went to New Mumbai, you got chai tea, and it's like, it's the same thing. Chai means tea. It's
Yeah,
TT.
it's TT. You
So I
know.
mean, that makes you totally think, like, because I sat there for a minute and I was like, how many words do we have that we steal from other
Oh, I
places?
love this whole thing with like the web and like the bracelet thing he had, where he would like throw the bracelet and you like hook onto things or hit things with it, and it would like
Yes,
come
you know what
back to
that
him.
reminded me of?
What?
It reminded me of Miss Marvel's gauntlets.
Oh yeah. I kind of wonder if that was like a toy or something, like an Indian toy
It
or something
it
like that.
is, well, I think it's, our little like cup and ball toy,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
ones that I think it's kind of one of those,
Uh huh.
and it's like the Indian like yo-yo, I
Okay.
think.
Okay.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
think I think that's what it is.
yeah. So they get there. They have this big, like, awesome climactic, almost semi-climactic, like this like world destruction scene. We get to introduce to Spider Punk, and Spider Punk is probably one of the best intros in this fucking show or the movie, I guess you could say.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
because he is just so like just a stark contrast from everybody else. I would say
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
crazy, and sometimes they don't know what he's saying. He's very much into anarchy and whatnot, but he's and deep down he's actually doing
Oh,
it for a good
we
reason.
know what he's saying all the time,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And because there's even like a reference that they or Miles thinks that he might be in a relationship with Gwen, so he gets kind of
Yeah.
like bent out of shape about that. The whole like when the Spot actually gets more power and like destroys the building, and we get into the whole like them saving all the different characters and whatnot, and which Miles ends up uh, performing a non-canon event with the death of the Indian Spider-Man's equivalent to Captain Stacy. He saves him, which causes their world to start to collapse in on itself almost until the other Spider-Man show up to save it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to know from there, like, does that mean that's always going to be a problem there, or
I think they were trying to contain it, so I don't know. We'll have to wait till the next
yeah,
movie.
or are they going to have to leave those things there
Yeah.
to keep it contained the whole time?
Yeah. And so like we'd end that. Miles ends up going with the other Spider-Man to Miguel O'Hara's world, which is Spider-Man 2099. I forget what it's called. And we end up we get the main source of this story in this part where Miles caused a non-canon event, and it causes like problems within the multiverse, basically.
Yeah.
And how do they know this? Because Miguel ended up doing that as well. A version of him died on a different world, and he took that place of that person, and he ended up destroying an entire world all by himself because of he wanted to be with his family. We'll
Right.
find this out. Because there's certain things have to happen in a Spider-Man's life in order to keep the universe like stable. It's like so like
Right.
the death of Gwen Stacy, the death of Captain Stacy, like
Well, and the thing that was kind of weird, like, we don't exactly know if he had his powers or not yet. Like, that's not something that's exactly brought up to us
uh
yet.
yeah, I believe he did have his powers and he went to that
So,
world.
well, and I only say that because what if the whole like destiny thing is he is supposed to be a Spider-Man, and if he didn't have those powers yet,
Oh, you're talking about
what if he?
the one that died?
No, with 2099.
Oh, 29, the one 2099, the one that died?
No,
Like the Miguel?
the regular one. Yeah, the
Oh, okay.
regular Miguel.
Yeah,
That's our antagonist to the movie.
he had his powers, and in his reality, his family died. Like he
Okay.
was Spider-Man,
Okay.
and his family died, and the guy who the other Miguel ends up dying, and he takes his place. So I'm curious if that Miguel who died had spider powers or not.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean
Yeah.
that's true. I only said that because I really wonder, because if he wouldn't have had him first, I wonder if a Spider-Man that hasn't become Spider-Man yet went to a different universe, if the effect is still like it's trying to force the world to say, "Hey, you're going to become a Spider-Man no matter what."
Maybe. I mean, I feel like if we saw that effect already because he even says like the world I was in like got disintegrated.
Yeah.
Like he was like it was my fault. I think I had to watch my family die again. And they say that because of what Miles did in New Mumbai, possibly uh, was going to have that happen there, and we were going to have that event happen, or something similar to that has to happen. So Miles's dad has to die in order to keep.
His dad was going to die already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they try to stop Miles from stopping it because Miles wants to stop that event from happening. Because I
Right.
mean,
Right.
technically, he's already had that event happen in the form of his uncle Aaron dying in the first movie.
Well, see, and here's another thing with that is very questionable, correct?
Yeah,
Would it not have been the same thing too for the Peter Parker die?
true.
So,
Yes.
they have all these different events, and you can see like, hey, it's an Uncle Ben thing, and they actually have it all, main events that supposedly
Yeah.
and they have them all named. It's really cheesy and corny with that aspect.
Yeah.
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 Oh, well,
Like
you have to marry a Mary Jane, and you
if
have to
they're
do
like,
this, and
if it wasn't for Uncle Ben, none of us would be here. But Miguel did not have an Uncle Ben in the comics.
right.
Miguel did not have an Uncle Ben.
Well, and we're also not told about Gwen having an Uncle Ben. We're
Yeah.
also not told about other people. We're not. There's so much stuff that we're not told about that doesn't exactly make sense. Because the other thing is, and it's going to get retconned. I'll call it right now. They have part of this stuff, but then how do you talk about like Tom Holland? Tom Holland didn't have an Uncle Ben. Tom Holland had, you know,
Aunt
an
May.
Aunt
Well, I
May.
mean, I think they might have referenced Uncle Ben at one point. I don't remember. Maybe like a slight
Yeah,
reference, but they didn't completely like reference him.
but you have that, and then you have a police officer that's
Yeah,
supposedly close to you that saves a kid, and
yeah,
all this other stuff, and some of it just didn't really make sense. But then the other thing is in the movie, we know that Gwen's dad is a
hmm
police officer and he's a
yeah,
chief captain, and that's one of the things that is it has to be this thing. Well, he quit his job. Okay,
yeah.
well, due to circumstances and events, from what we know, that means her
Gwen's,
world is already doomed.
yeah, I
you
guess,
know so then why when he quit didn't the black hole scenario happen like we got in New Mumbai already start happening in Gwen's world before
yeah,
she got back there?
true, true.
So I already think that there's a lot of things that they have as like quote unquote, and this is where the Inside Out movie kind of reference comes in, is those core memories. I don't exactly know if they actually matter the way that they think.
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
it's more like zodiac signs, where it's like enough people act exactly the same in that stuff, and so you say, yeah, these are traits that those people have. Well, most of the Spider-Men are go through that same thing, but I really don't think it's actually the main reference for how
I mean,
people
like
are.
Miles himself, they even state this in the movie, like Miles himself is an anomaly in and to
This is true.
himself, because
This is true.
the spider that bites him isn't the spider that bit Peter Parker like it was supposed to be in the comics. It was a spider from a different universe that got
Right.
transported because of the spot, and so it caused him to be Spider-Man, you know.
Right.
Which that's kind of the whole catalyst of the rest of this movie, is them trying to stop Miles and
Right.
whatnot. Which that
But
fucking chase scene was epic.
yeah, where he's running around the thing.
Yes,
Oh man, yeah, because there's so many.
yes, so many Spider-Man.
I mean, you got Ben Riley, Scarlet Spider. You had
The Spider Cop is in there. The Spider Buggy is in there. Spider Cat. You know,
yeah, the Spider Cowboy,
yeah,
Spider T Rex.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, you had so many different universe Spider-Men that were in there. Some of them obviously probably just added for like, hey, we need
yeah.
enough,
A lot of the animated Spider-Man from the different cartoons were in there too.
And we had what's her face from Spider,
Yeah,
from the first movie in the building. That was one of my only arguments, which we'll talk about it and hit on it more closer to the end, is that we didn't have Spider-Man Noir there.
I mean until the
Not
very end.
even not even in the background. We didn't have Spider Ham in the
Yeah,
organization. So that was another thing that I question is how did they deem Spider-Man worthy and how did they
I mean that's
who
true because
who did they not,
they didn't even want Miles in the Spider group.
Right.
Like
Right.
they didn't want him to even to know about it. You know.
Right. And I mean that Miles is a little more like understandable though
Yeah,
because of the whole thing that he is an anomaly in and of itself.
yeah,
But for part of these other guys, it just didn't really make sense.
yeah. And then we get probably one of my favorite characters. Peter B. Parker comes back, looks even better this time because he has a pink bathrobe on with Spider-Man slippers. Uh,
Oh my gosh.
and
Right.
he has a baby. And the baby is actually Mayday Parker. If you don't know who Mayday Parker is, she's a Spider Woman or Spider Girl from Earth 2. And she has probably one of the best runs in Spider-Man comic history. Like she
Right.
is a beloved character in
And
Spider-Man.
she is his natural daughter,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. She is.
Okay.
Yeah, 100% natural. Mary Jane's her mom. You know, she gets all the spider powers and stuff like that. You know, very good run. I recommend reading that Spider Girl run if you ever want to get into Mayday Parker. It's really good. It's like over
Yeah.
like 100 issues.
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. And
Um.
it starts out when she's a teenager, so it's not like she's a baby.
Yeah.
But can I
But I
just
mean,
say,
we get that. I mean, that was
she's super adorable. You know, it's
yeah.
funny seeing him as Peter Parker as a dad. You know, and it gave me very much like Mace Hughes vibes. Like he's like so proud to be a dad
Oh
type
my
of thing
gosh. Don't
because
say that. Then
he got
then
that.
then we're gonna be like movie 3. He's probably gonna die.
He got the experience of being a father by being a father figure to Miles in the first movie. You know,
Well, and can we talk about that for a second? I
yeah,
really fucking love how like they're chasing him down,
uh-huh.
and he says something, and the lady on the motorcycle,
Yeah, Spider Woman.
whatever, yeah. So they're talking to her or whatever, and he goes
I thought of
something, and
that.
she tells him that he's a bad mentor or whatever, and then Miles does something, he keeps getting away from him. He goes, "Can I just say, am I a great freaking mentor?"
Yeah, obviously you must have done something right
and
because
he plays it up, and I'm like, that is great.
I mean, because he's rooting for Miles. You know, like even though like this bad thing's supposed to happen, like he doesn't want anything to happen to Miles. You
Right.
know, yeah, and yeah, like that's the whole thing. You know, like with Peter and even with Gwen to an extent, you know, because they have that connection to them is like real, you know. You can tell
Right.
like they do care about each other, but it's almost like a double-edged sword where they have to go after him, kind of thing, like because Miguel told them to go after him or whatever, Um, but
Kind of, yeah,
yeah,
I agree. I think that is a double-edged sword because I think in one way they go after him to kind of protect him and watch out
yeah,
for him, but in the other way, it's they're going after him to try and stop him, from the whole thing with
yeah,
Miguel.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I mean, but then we get the other Spider Girl, that's the AI person
yeah.
that
Uh,
ends up letting him go through the system.
and he gets sent to what we think is his Earth,
Yeah, but he gets sent to Earth 42.
which is the 42 is from the spider had the number 42 written on it, and
Yeah.
that's the universe that spider came from. He doesn't know that, and he ends up in a world where there is no Spider-Man. Let me ask you,
Right.
did you pick up on this at first? Because we get Gwen has her whole thing where she goes to Miles's place in the other universe, and it's very much it it was there if you picked up on it, like the hints.
So I didn't pick up on it till after he got back to his room.
See, like I picked up on it
And
because like
and
the way
one of the other things I question though is if you follow it from Gwen's point of view, right?
uh-huh,
And she's across the street on top of the building looking at his room.
yeah,
There's spider webs hanging off the window.
uh-huh.
But when he first got in there, he just crawled on the side of the building and there were no webs that you saw.
Yeah, and also you can also look at the color of like the background of the sky and stuff like that.
I didn't look that close,
Yeah,
but
there's different colors, but also like what really hit me was when he puts on so like he's in his room and his mom is there kind of talking to him, I guess it's like doing laundry or whatever. He puts on his jacket and stuff, and his jacket is purple and green, the colors
yeah,
of the Prowler, which aren't the colors of the jacket he wears in the original universe. But what got me like was his mom's eyes colors were different. They were
I
green.
I didn't notice that, but
Yeah, they were
like
green
I said,
in one universe they're green, in one universe they're like brown.
yeah. But no,
Yeah.
like I said, whenever you are looking at the thing and the spider web outside of his window,
Mhm.
and then when he crawls in, we had the whole thing where it was earlier where Gwen was like, "Oh, why do you have this action figure in the box?" And she rips the box up and
Yeah.
she set the thing up there. Well, when she does that, we kind of get like a good view of his room and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so when she's sitting there, when he crawls in through the window, he doesn't have any action figures.
Yeah.
There's
His
nothing.
room's
There's
different.
nothing there. Like
Yeah.
the room is completely different. And that was one of the things I was like, okay, well, maybe his clothes could have gotten picked up by his mom or
Yeah.
whatever. But then, like, that's different. And then if you're really looking at different stuff, mom's hair is different. Um,
It's like slightly different.
you would have thought the other thing is, and this is weird because you said you saw the sky and that was like a subtle hint or whatever.
Yeah.
My subtle hint was how come every time he's been home, his dad has always been around. And when he
True.
got home and his mom was there and she was the only one there, I was like, that's wrong because his dad only stays out is a daytime cop, not a nighttime cop,
Yeah.
unless he gets called out. And when that happens, like in the first movie, you always see him there.
Oh, and also the big thing is Uncle Aaron's alive.
That's true.
Yes.
That's
And
true.
like
And this is a weird thing with that is Aaron sleeping with Miles' mom in that
oh
universe because they were like talking and stuff, and I was like, this is weird.
yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's not in the fucking same universe," you know? And he confesses to his mom like, "Oh, I'm Spider-Man." She's like, "Who's Spider-Man? What's Spider-Man?" You know? And then Uncle
Yeah,
Aaron comes in and like it's like almost like he's seen a ghost basically because Aaron died in the last movie, and they leave to go do something and Aaron's talking about like security systems and stuff, and Miles is like acting like, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's gonna be deactivated or whatever," and Do you think Aaron knew that that wasn't his Miles?
Oh yeah,
You think so?
I think he for sure knew because as it kind of seemed like in Universe 42, Aaron works on the Prowler equipment.
Hmm.
He's not the Prowler though.
Yeah, no.
And so he probably would have seen him earlier
Yeah.
and knew like, hey, you didn't take the rolls out of your hair
Yeah,
early,
yeah. Your
you know.
braids or whatever they yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Your
so
cornrows.
we get him chained up to a boxing like bag, like a heavy bag,
A
and
punching bag.
yeah, punching bag, and he thinks Uncle Aaron is the Prowler, but it turns out he's not. He is the Prowler. Miles is the Prowler in this universe, and I was fucking blown away because I did not see that coming, like at all.
Oh yeah, well, after he put the claw on and
Yeah,
you heard him say, "I'm not the," I was like, "It's fucking Miles." Shit,
yeah,
I'm walking out of this movie. I'm fucking done at this point.
yeah.
um, I mean, but the other weird thing that kind of came to mind with all that is how in the world, if there wasn't that spider, how in the world did everything line up for Universe 42 just like it did for Miles' universe, where they lived in the same house, they did all the same stuff. I
Well,
mean,
the defining factor I would say is that his dad died instead of Aaron.
well,
Like,
I mean, but they still live in the same apartment,
yeah, yeah.
like,
Like everything else is the same except Miles is the Prowler. He's not Spider Man.
yeah. And that's
Yeah.
another thing I kind of wonder if in every universe, if Miles was actually supposed to be the Prowler instead of being Spider-Man.
I think so. Oh, but I forgot to bring up something. When they had all the captured individuals and
Uh
from the different anomalies.
oh yeah, yeah.
Did you see the one where it was Donald Glover dressed up as the Prowler?
Yes.
Yes. Did you get that reference?
I don't know.
So Donald Glover plays the same character in Spider-Man Homecoming, I believe it is. Because he mentions it, he goes like, "Oh, I got a nephew, and Spider-Man leaves him like webbed up to his car because he's like looking for like somebody. Did you know uh, that Donald Glover campaigned to be Spider-Man back in the day, back when he
No, I
was on
didn't know that.
Community? Did you not know that?
No, I didn't.
So, did you know he is partially responsible for the creation of Miles Morales?
I didn't
Because
know that.
he campaigned so hard to want to play Spider-Man. I think this was after Tobey Maguire had done Spider-Man. I don't even think Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man yet. He
Yeah.
campaigned so hard. Like Brian Michael Bendis saw this, who created Ultimate Spider-Man, and then he created Miles Morales. So he sort of based his character on not just Donald Glover, but also like some other people as well. But he is the main inspiration for Miles Morales.
Well, and from that, I would say he's probably even the inspiration for just Spider-Geddon or the Spider-Verse, like in general.
Um, Not at
You
that
know,
time. No,
because how many different Spider-Men were there actually out there that weren't white guys?
a lot, a lot. I think they were trying to be diverse. To be honest,
Well, I mean, even in this movie, though, we do see like almost all of them are white guys.
yeah. Oh yeah, give or take.
So I mean, I'm sure like even if we had other ones in different places, like they were all originally
Yeah,
white guys.
he was like a big influence for Miles, and to see him in the movie was pretty funny because he's like, oh, I'm the Prowler, which I would love to see him as like a live action Prowler if we ever do get a live action like Miles Morales. That would
Yeah.
be cool. That would be cool because he kind of
Well,
aged
and
out of being Spider Man.
yeah, and maybe we could have just like an actual like because didn't Prowler become like a superhero?
He's a bad guy.
Don't we have just Prowler comics though, where
No,
it's Just him?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we did. We had like the Prowler comic
No.
series.
No. No, I
Because
don't think he's ever had him.
I think that was on one of the lists that I was looking up comics to have to read, and the Prowler
But
was involved.
anyways, so that big revelation happens. We also get the revelation that Spider-Punk ends up helping Gwen because Gwen gets stuck on her Earth. And before that, she gets stuck on Earth, and she ends up assembling a team of Spider people, which also involve the original Spider people from Into the Spider-Verse, which was really cool. That was like the big
Knew it.
like the stinger at the end. I was like, oh
Knew it.
fuck yeah!
Knew it. Let me kick your butt real quick.
What?
Prowler Comics the Prowler was released 2016 to 2017.
Oh fuck! Okay, that's weird because he's a bad guy.
It has six of them, and it's made by Ryan Campbell
Okay,
up until the sixth one, and then it's Ryan Solteris.
okay.
But I only know this because of when I knew about the Spider-Verse stuff that crossed over, and I was looking up the reading list.
Okay, I mean, that's cool. You gonna read it?
I'm actually reading. We'll have to talk about this on a different one.
Okay.
I'm actually reading all of the books that are in the Fresh Start series. So if this is a part of it, then Fresh Start is.
Okay.
This might not be in it though, because it's 2016, 2007. Because everything that's in the Fresh Start set starts in 2018.
Okay,
So this would be right before it.
Yeah. Well, so then we get the big whole to be continued at the end. Let me ask you, did you know this was going to be a two-parter?
No.
No?
No, not until we got kind of farther in, and then when Miles got caught, I was like, this is going to be two parts. I was like, they're not going to drag out the movie another extra 30 minutes or another hour for him to escape and do everything.
So they were originally going to make this one movie. And then, like, I guess during the pandemic or something, they decided to cut it off and make it into two different movies.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it changed the outcome of the movie or whatnot. But when that happened, all I heard it was a loud, like, no! Like, why would they do this? I was like, am I the only person who, like, knew this was happening?
Yeah,
but
that's fucking hilarious.
But so I guess we could talk about a little bit how my viewing experience was. So I went. Go ahead.
So real quick, so at the end we do get the team that Gwen Stacy has put together, Spider Gwen, to go actually save Miles.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
and we have the original Spider-Man that came from the first movie. Yeah, all of them. Spider-Ham, Spider, and what's her face? Spider-Man Noir. No, Spider. You know the robot.
The robot. Yeah.
So we got those three. We got Spider Gwen, which is everybody from the first movie. Yeah, and then we have Spider-Punk. Whatever her name is.
I don't remember what her name is.
Spider-Punk, and then we got Spider-Man, the Indian Spider-Man.
Yes.
And I think that's it. Oh, and we have Mayday and
Peter. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we have that full set of people that are on this team. So I mean, we're lined up with a great cast of characters.
And plus the opposing cast we didn't talk about, which is Miguel, Scarlet Spider, and Jessica Drew. You know, so we have the opposing Spider-Man as well, still looking for Miles Morales. You know,
this is true.
So let me tell you about my viewing experience. And
hey, real quick, was Spider-Punk's name Hobie Brown?
Yes, I said that.
Okay, I just had to re-ask that because I was reading a little thing on this comic, and it says that the Prowler in this is Hobie Brown.
Really?
Yeah, and he works for the Jackal.
Huh, interesting.
So maybe it is a villain comic. I don't know.
I mean, the Jackal is a villain.
I know, and it says the other big name is Madam Web, which I have. You'll know more about that than I do, but
Yeah,
maybe you were right. Maybe they just made a villain comic with him.
maybe, but yeah. Um, so my viewing experience, I went to a theater. It was a small theater, and like, we went to the town over. I went to the town over to see my girlfriend. We went and saw the movie,
Ew.
and so we go.
Taco Max got a girlfriend. Ew. For anybody that's been listening for a while, you guys already know this, okay?
Yeah.
Anybody
So we
new,
go.
there you go.
We go to this small theater, which looks like it's kind of hasn't been updated since like early 2000.
Oh
So
my
it's a
god.
small theater. It doesn't have the luxury seats and whatnot. So I guess the
Please
guy's too
tell me they
cheap.
had popcorn.
They did have popcorn. I guess the guy's too cheap to like cool like the theater off. It was so fucking hot in there. I
Oh
was
my god.
sweating my balls off in
Well,
a
was it packed?
packed theater.
That could
I
have been
was
it too, because I've
well
been to
that
plenty of
too, but like
theaters
that
that.
too, but every time I've gone there before, like it's been hot as well. So like the guy doesn't
Okay.
fucking want like cool air to run because I guess it costs more. Um, and I'm just sweat is just dripping off my body, and I
Sweat
mean,
is dripping off my balls.
with my balls, and I'm sitting there. Somebody brought a fucking baby to the movie. So the baby is like goo goo and gaga and whatever. That's fine. What we get is I get a guy behind me complaining about the fucking baby and talking. He's like, oh, why would somebody bring a baby? They're ruining my movie. And this motherfucker, like halfway through the movie, picks up his phone and he's like, hey, I can't talk right now. I'm at the movies.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, oh my, and he's commenting throughout the entire movie as well. Like, I don't know if he's like a fucking spider snob or what, but he's
You
like
didn't say
commenting.
anything?
I was, I don't, I
Hey
was
buddy!
so,
Hey buddy, you ruining my movie experience. Shut up!
I wasn't in the mood to start a movie fight. I needed biker Gandalf by my side.
Oh shit, right? I forgot
Yeah.
about Biker Gandalf.
But so yeah, and then we get to the end and they're like, oh man, this fucking sucks, it's to be continued, and I'm like, I was like, I already knew beforehand there was no post-credit scene. I fucking jumped up and left. I was like, we need to fucking go. I need to
Oh
get
my
out of
god.
here. So as much as I did enjoy the movie, I enjoyed the movie a lot. My viewing experience was not the best. So I feel like I definitely need to go see this movie again.
Well, I stayed until they had the whole traditional Marvel thing where it said Miles Morales will return.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was fine. It didn't,
Yeah.
obviously we didn't have any like credit scenes at all, but the song was really good in the credits, so
So let me
everybody
ask.
else left. That's one of the things I hate though, like if people are sitting there, like the guy that I told you walked in that was like too good to buy like popcorn or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna buy it. He was like, I've already looked. There's no post credit
Well,
scenes or
I found
whatever.
out the day before on accident because of Facebook.
Yeah.
So
But
like,
I looked at something that said, still stick around to the thing because you kind of get a little bit of stuff in the background when you're
yeah,
watching the pre-credit or the credit scenes. I was
yeah.
like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, let me ask you, what did you think about this movie?
I'll stick to it. It was an 11 out of 10.
11 out of 10.
Yeah, I fucking loved it.
I loved it as well, but I do feel like there were parts of it that kind of dragged on a little too much. I don't know if that's because I was sweating my balls off or not. And I was like, oh my gosh, fucking come on, let's get through this movie. Because this movie was long. It was 2 hours and 19 minutes. This was a long
Yeah,
movie. So I don't
yeah.
know if my viewing experience changed my point of view on this. So
It's because you didn't go with your buddy, because we would have been cracking jokes the whole time.
I mean, probably. I don't know, but I did. I
The worst thing would be Tiffany sitting on the other side of you and me leaning over. You got sweat running down your balls too. Because imagine the side conversation, you and I having that, the stupidest thing in the world, and her being like, "What the fuck?"
so yeah, I do feel like I need to go see this movie again. I love the animation. The animation was fucking top notch. I was overblown, like overexposed to all the fucking cameos. Like my brain was going crazy trying to keep up with all the cameos in my
Oh my
head.
gosh! Right?
Like, so I feel like this movie will definitely, on repeat viewings, be like a fucking classic. Like just as good as the
Right.
last movie.
Right. I
I
mean,
might even
or if
I
you get to watch it at home. If you get to watch
yeah.
it at home, you're good. You're solid.
I mean, I feel like this might end up being the best Spider-Man trilogy to date. Like it could be that good. Like fucking top tier. It could even beat out No Way Home, Tom Holland Spider-Man for me. And he's like my favorite Spider-Man
That's crazy.
for like live action. Yeah. Like this
Yeah,
movie was that fucking good in my opinion.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
It would be an 11, but my balls are sweaty.
But you can't say that about the movie, though. It's just the
No,
theater.
no, just the theater. Theater gets like a 2 out of 5 or 2 out of 10.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
No,
I like the
but
theater, but like
I
that
will
thing.
say, I will say to any of our future listeners or whatever, if you live in Arkansas or Texas or any other fucking theater where I'm going to go watch a goddamn movie, keep your fucking comments to your goddamn self, okay? Because little things like that just make me want to rip somebody's eyes out.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
if it's a
oh, the
kid,
popcorn is da 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 da,
if
or
it's a kid, I don't mind because they're a kid,
yeah,
But if it's an adult, I fucking do mind.
right. Well, and there was a part that I laughed out loud, like, and nobody else did, and I was like, okay, well, it's not my fault, but
Yeah,
at least it was a laugh, and it wasn't a, oh man, that one part right there is kind of shitty. Da 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 da.
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's just people's like fucking dick mentality, that makes me want to rip faces off.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah,
Because there's just some of that. I'm like, I know that you could be a really good fan, but when you're a snob over a movie or whatever, and you're trying to like talk, I would prefer you to kind of keep it to yourself / to your little friend group instead of spilling it over and trying to tell me. Because I'll tell you right now, like it's happened to me a couple times already, and I think I'm just kind of done. So if I hear it again, I'm probably gonna cuss somebody out. Be like, if you didn't fucking like it, don't come watch it the same time I'm watching it, okay? I'm gonna start wearing a neon green Spider-Man shirt or something, just so like people will know, hey,
yeah,
because it just, I don't know. I think people like that, just kind of like what you said with the theater itself, like you're getting the full experience in different ways in the environment, the cross commotion. I mean, everything can go in and factor to your rating, you know.
yeah. No, yeah.
So now I will tell you. Side note: I also tried to go to a Burger King and order a Spider-Man hamburger, and I was told by one that they no longer do that. So Burger King, if you're listening, I
But
want
it
you to
like
know that you.
just came out.
I know. I want you to know that one of your companies already says that you guys have discontinued it, and
Oh
will
man,
no
I
longer
wanted one of those things.
no longer have it. No. And then I went to a separate one. This is my commitment, okay?
Uh-huh.
Burger King, I want you to know this. I'd love a free Spider-Man hamburger, okay? I don't even care if like in the future you just go, hey, anything with a different colored bun, we'll keep one for you, okay? I went to a different one. And I love their answer better because they said, we've ran out of those. We'll have more later on.
Uh-huh.
come back, would you still like to order with us or whatever?
Yeah.
I respected that more than some piss poor employee telling me, hey, we no longer have those anymore. Which I probably should have known because it's also a spot where I used to live at too,
Uh-huh.
and they're rated like a 1.2 or a 2.5 or something like that. So they're not even 10 stars or 5
Oh,
stars or whatever.
that sucks.
So I don't know. Maybe Burger King, you guys did a good play on not having stuff because it's probably wasted on that store. But I would kind of just love for those people to kind of just, oh hey, I guess you lose your job or something because you decided to say, hey, we no longer carry that 5 days after it's supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
And I even fucking looked this up. Okay. It is going to be carried till like the 27th
It
of
was
this month,
even in the movie.
right? It's
Yeah.
supposed to be carried till the 27th of this month,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
So for somebody to say like 5 days after it supposedly came out that they will no longer be carrying those anymore, I think is a really bad blemish on Burger King's just whole shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's real fucking bullshit.
Anyways.
But hey, maybe Burger King will give us some free burgers, Mike.
Oh, maybe. We can only hope. We can only hope.
We are very sorry for your experience that you had with us. We would like to make sure that you come in and get a couple Spider-Man.
Jack in a Box wouldn't do this to us.
We don't have a Jack in the Box up here. But
Anyways,
yeah,
guys.
I mean that was my only argument with that. So
Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See you
I
next
hope you
Tuesday.
guys enjoyed the episode.
Yeah.
And hey, if you listen to a collection, two of our other about 30-minute shows or whatever, and this one, you will have sat through the Spider-Verse movie, okay?
That is true.
So,
Anyways,
anyway,
we'll see you
see
guys
you
on the
next Tuesday.
Bye.